This is Here in My Time, and I am so thankful and excited you've tuned in to this very first season of my brand new podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Hunt, and I am so honored to say that this first season of 16 episodes, hour-long weekly segments is actually sponsored by one of my favorite stores in downtown Huntington, Indiana. Can you tell the excitement in my voice? That's right, you've guessed it, Turn the Page Books and Music Store. Rex is the owner of this fine establishment. This is the place to go if you are looking for your next read or to add to your vinyl collection. It is jam-packed full of used books, everything from fiction to nonfiction, and of course a huge variety of records from rock and roll to Taylor Swift. And let me tell you, Rex is the perfect owner because he is a music library. If you need help picking out your first record or maybe adding to your collection, this is the man for you. Whenever you walk in the door, music is playing constantly. You got perfect lighting, you've got the wooden floors. It's the perfect vibe to enjoy your day in. So make sure you stop in and visit, and also follow him on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much, Rex, for your support. It means the world to me. Now on to the episode. Well, hey y'all, I hope you guys are having a marvelous day no matter where you are or when you are listening to this. Now, at the time of this recording, it is very cold and it's snowing, but I am having a blast with this winter. It's beautiful and I love the winter, and I know there's somebody who is saying out there thinking you're nuts, and that's perfectly fine because you're not too far off. I am so glad that you've tuned in today. Today's episode is 6 of this first season of Here in My Time, and I'm your host, Lauren Hunt, a local personal journalist, photographer, documentarian, and just quite frankly, a lover of people and their stories, located right here in Wabash, Indiana. Now, I do hope that you are staying safe and warm during this season and at least enjoy the lighting and the beautiful snow that comes with this, because it's so cool to watch the light hit the snow in the fields and it looks like crystals, and it almost there's some days where everything looks like a shade of blue, and I love that. If you're new to the show, then you probably don't know that this is a little bit of a different episode, and if you've listened before, then you do know just by the intro that this is a little bit different. I don't have a guest with me today, but I do encourage you to go back and listen to all my guests so far on this show. It's been marvelous. It has been such an honor for me, and I do want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the show by following, by hitting the like button, by sharing it with your friends, all of that in between. It's been amazing to see your guys' support and just encouraging words that you have said if you know me personally and you've talked to me in person. I do have so many plans to make a difference and to help people, and the way that I have seen people already being encouraged, like the guests that I've had, that's probably the biggest thing that I have got out of this podcast so far, is to just see the people that I've interviewed share their episode with their friends and family online, or when they go out for coffee, they share the website or whatever it might be, and it's the encouraging words that they say to them. And also it's the memories that they end up sharing in the comment box. They're just like, yes, you made the biggest difference in my life. And do you remember this? Or I remember when your mom did this, or I remember this, that, or the other. And it's so cool to see that in somebody's life, because I feel like just to be able to honor somebody in that way, it's like just to be a part of that makes me so happy. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And in all seriousness, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can listen to her talk for an hour. Don't worry, I'm thinking the same thing. I do know there is a point in my conversation skills where it stops making sense. So I'm really going to try to keep it dialed down, and I don't know how long this episode is going to be, and I realize that it breaks the idea of having an hour-long episode every week, but I really want to do this. I really feel like this is something that I want to implement, an encouraging conversation session between me and you, because I feel like I love to champion people in my personal life, in my daily life, And I've been immensely blessed to have people in my life that do the same for me. And I realize that not everybody has that in their life. And if you need someone to champion you, then I want to be that person for you. I want to be able to help you. And maybe you just need an extra uplifting thing in your day. And so today I'm going to talk to you about a certain subject. And this is the first installment of this kind of episode. And it's not going to be every week and or every other week or anything like that. It'll probably be every 5 episodes or something like that. But today's episode is all about learning or starting something new. And to dial it down even more, how do we start? Now, this isn't just for the person who's looking to start learning a new skill or just chase the dream that they've always wanted to do in their life. It's also for the person who maybe stopped doing the thing that they loved, sat down a passion, and is contemplating whether they can do it again or whether they should pick it back up again. This topic is for anyone and at any age, so grab your favorite warm drink and turn up the dial on your dash, and let's just settle in for some simple ways to just get started. Now, the number one thing that I have learned after putting my hands to a lot of hobbies and creative things is that the fear of failure is actually something that I feel like crosses everybody's mind. It's not confined to age, which is actually quite refreshing, and I think that is the barrier to entry for most people. I mean, I deal with it myself. When I first started in the automotive industry as a career, I was so afraid of failing in front of somebody, or admitting that I didn't know something, or even ask for help. Now, I can simply just stop there because in just that statement, you can tell exactly where what I like to call my heart posture was. I was more concerned about my pride and how everyone would perceive me that I lost sight of why I was doing it and building the knowledge, which is the whole point, building that skill. Really don't know exactly why failure is such a big deal. And sometimes I think we use failure too much and replace words like mistake or learning curve with failure, which increases the negative potency in our mind and feeds that little voice of excuse saying, I give up, I can't do this. And even for some, I'm too old, which I don't believe to be true. I have put my hands to many different things outside of cars. I have put my hand to woodworking and photography and videography, everything in between. And I don't always get the shot. I don't always get the wood to do what I want it to do. I don't always get the furniture to turn out exactly how I planned it. And I don't always get the quilt to line up at every seam, okay? It's how it is. But if I'm constantly consumed with the fear of failure, I would never experience the moments when I stand back and I see that finished project and say, I did that. I did that. So how do we get past the fear of failure? If I was to ask you why you were afraid to fail, what would you answer? Your heart posture, you see, that's the path to which you need to take, okay, to break down those walls. So is it the fear of what other people think, or is it the fear of not succeeding in your eyes, in your expectations? Either way, there's one thing that will help you start on anything new, and that is, why are you doing it? Decide at the beginning what it means to succeed for you. You see, the problem right now is that everyone can see everyone's highlight reels whenever they want. Now, this is a topic for another time, of course, but the idea that we can compare our beginning to someone else's middle started way before social media. But it has been personified in our own walk, the daily walk of our lives of society. Now, remember that you're only being shown what that person is wanting you to see. You don't see all the paintings that they did not finish or that did not work. The sketchbooks where they first started to learn how to draw fingers for the first time. All you see is the beautiful painting at the end and the price tag that they are selling it for. There's always a backstory to everyone and everybody's skill that they have. And this is, of course, good to remember during the seasons of comparison, but it also helps to remember this when you are reaching towards your own success. No one, and I mean no one, is an overnight success. So what is your why? Why are you wanting to do this? And what is your what is the definition of your success in this hobby? Now, some people are not this serious, and I understand this, but this will help you. This will help you even if you're not trying to be the top notch at anything. And I don't think you have to try to be the top notch at anything. But this is going to help you mindset-wise to get over some of the little humps that you find yourself in when you're working on projects. Steady your mind now. Steady. Do you get that word, steady your mind now? Let it be a reminder so that if you're training for a marathon, like I am, at the local Y, and somebody passes you around the track and they can run longer and faster and better, you see you're not shaken because you came into this with your own purpose. In doing this, you're able to simply pull inspiration from the person that you see and not be stuck in comparison. At the risk of talking way too much and over talking about the subject, I want to say one thing though. If your answer to why you are afraid to fail is because of what other people might think of you, then I want you to realize that no one is actually so concerned of what you're doing or whether you're going to succeed or fail than what you think. And if they are, well, that tells you a whole lot more about them than it ever could about you. Remember that people reflect what they fear, okay? Maybe they are too afraid to try, and they see the boldness in you and feel unconfident in themselves. And maybe that's your opportunity to be an encouragement and champion of them, even though some of the times that can be a little hard. So that's mindset things that we have talked about here when it comes to the fear of failure, and that's free. That's something that you need to have set before you even start doing something. And maybe that's in a way, some of this is overkill, but also it's going to keep you from getting stuck in places where I got stuck at. And that's my hope, is to hopefully get you around some of the obstacles that I found myself in throughout my career, throughout all my hobbies and interests, and just daily life. Now, that's one mindset, but there's another trap that I want to warn you about, and that is analysis paralysis. Because you can decide that you're going to take imperfect action, okay, and say, I'm going to do this, and you decide, I'm going to research and see what I need to do. What do I need to get? Who do I need to talk to? All the things. And you start to research, which starts off great, which is a really good step to take, okay? It's really good to research. What do you need? What kind of tools will you need to do the job? How do I pattern this? Or how do I do this? You're getting your basic skills. It's when you've crossed over from learning the little skills to actually never picking up the tools and applying those skills. Okay, I get that. I do the same thing even throughout doing a hobby that I've done for so long. I get in traps of learning something new within that hobby or learning how to set up a new lighting in my photography that I watch all the videos or I read all the articles or I look at all the pictures in my photo books, but I don't actually pick up my camera and move my lighting around. Because guess what? It's actually going into the studio and actually doing the thing that you're learning. So be careful of this trap of getting into analysis paralysis, because it can be great to research. You need to do that. But it's the moments when you're using it as an excuse of why you're not going to pick up your camera, or you realize that you haven't picked up your paintbrush, or you actually haven't made real progress towards implementing the thing that you want to learn. Okay? Now, those are all free things there that you can get started on. And that's research, that's getting your mind ready for this. But what does it mean when I actually have to start investing in things for my hobby? So the question I will ask you is it something that you really want to do, that you know you like to do? Maybe it was something that you did before as a kid and you've always wanted to do it, and it just hasn't worked out time-wise, financially wise, and now it seems to be lining up and you want to start investing? Or is it something you've never done before and you need to see if you like it first? It's always a great start to see if you like something first. Now, your question is how do I do that when I don't have any of the tools? Well, this is where community comes in. I think community is a huge part of the creative process. Now, a lot of us love to spend time by ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I have found that in the creative process, being around people that love what they're doing, whether it's your hobby or not, it's a great way to get inspiration. Okay, inspiration, the key word, inspiration, not comparison. Okay, so if there's something that you want to learn, take woodworking, for example, and you don't have a drill or an access to a drill, you don't own one, is there somebody that has a drill that you can use or tools that you can use? Can you talk to them about maybe spending some time in the shop with them when they're doing a project, and you can learn from them just to see if you like this idea, this hobby. If you like to go and you like to see what they're doing and you're interested and you find yourself thinking and running through processes in your head of how I would fix this if it was my project, or this, that, or the other. Now, there are people out there in the creative community that really want to share what they know. Some of these trades, some of these creative processes feel like a dying art. There are going to be people that have so much knowledge that may pass away one day and never get to be able to share it with somebody because they don't have kids or they don't have people around them. So find people that are willing to share their knowledge with you and see if you can just apprentice them. Whatever it is, whether it's dancing, whether it's going and volunteering at the local dance group or the local theater, just to see the process and see the behind the scenes of things, and maybe you can help rehearse with them or whatever it might be. If you're wanting to get back in dancing or learn to dance, is there a way you can get involved volunteering for different things? I will say that if you ever get the opportunity to have mentors in your life, like I have, is there a way that you can give back to them? Understand that people have invested money, time, tools, all the things to do the thing that you're wanting to do, and they're helping you. So you may not be able to afford to give them money, but is there a way that you can actually help them by bringing a meal over that day when you guys have it, and say, hey, I'm going to bring McDonald's over, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Or make a pie or bring coffee or something, just to show that respect. It's always such a good thing to do when you're getting started in something new and people are taking you under their wing. It's always good to do that. But like I said, it's always good to find a community that you can at least try something first before you start investing. So if you have tried it and you like it and you're saying, I'm going to actually start investing in it and I've done it long enough to know that I am going to stick with it, then I'm going to start investing in my own tools. Okay, here's where the other trap starts to set. Okay. I am the kind of person who loves tools, who loves hobbies. So I buy a lot of things, and sometimes it just sits on my shelf and stares at me. Same thing. If you're a book lover, you buy the books, but you don't always read all the books. I do the same thing as well. This is something that is really important to understand, that there's a trap set when you're starting to actually invest in your own materials and tools, because society and the advertisement of things will say, hey, you need this, and this, because if you don't have these things, you're never going to be good at these things. And that is a complete lie. Same thing with the person who says, I want to start picking up dance again, but I hung up my shoes 20 years ago and I don't know if those shoes are good anymore. I can't start doing dance because I don't have a nice dancing outfit or whatever it might be, or I need new shoes. Okay, let me tell you, if your shoes are good enough to wear for just a little bit, keep wearing them and dance. Now, don't injure yourself. But the point is that sometimes we use these excuses saying that we need the best in everything or the new in everything to actually get started. I have been in this trap 1,000 times and spent money where I did not need to spend money, and getting myself into trouble and sometimes into a little bit of debt because I've spent that money on things that I wasn't ready for or didn't need to begin with. And I don't want that to happen to you. So when you're looking at investing something, how far can you take what you have? And then also when you start to actually buy new things, what are you going to actually use and what is a good investment? What makes a good investment is something that is going to help you do the basics of your skill. You do not need the top-notch paintbrush. Now, there's painters out there who are painting portraits professionally, and they are getting the best and top-notch paintbrushes. But if you can't hold the paintbrush right, it doesn't make sense to buy a $40 paintbrush or higher if you've never picked up a paintbrush before. So don't be afraid to get the most financially sound option. Going to Hobby Lobby and getting the starter pack is a great way to go. You don't need the top notch because you need to learn the skill, the technical skill first. Same thing with photography. If you have a point and shoot camera, you need to learn how to just compose a shot. How do you get the composition right and the lighting right? That's all you need to learn. Pick up a camera, take your phone. Every camera on your phone these days works amazing. So how can you line up a shot that way? Right? It's learning where you can use what you have already, and then also building upon that, okay, building upon what you have. And it's not comfortable, and I feel like I said I've made this mistake way too much and bought everything that I possibly could think of and things that I don't even need. So I'm just trying to help save you money and time in the long run. But if it's something that will help you and you just want to because you have proven to yourself, not proven to other people, you've proven to yourself that this is really something that you love and you want to invest in, then do that. I'm not going to tell you not to spend anything or anything like that. But I am going to say, just if your budget is tight and you want to start, this is kind of a best way to get started. And I will say that there are websites that you can rent equipment if you're getting into photography, or maybe you're getting into videography. You can rent things and try things at a lower cost. But also Facebook Marketplace is also great places to find supplies or whatever it might be that you're wanting to get into. And then Goodwill is great places. Be patient. Just be patient in your hobby. And this is where you're settling into your mindset, okay? You're steadying your mind. Leonardo da Vinci did not have the top-notch paintbrush. He knew what he was doing. He knew what worked best for him. You're going to learn a lot about what works best for you in this process of getting tools, of acquiring tools for your hobby. But one thing I will say is if you're going to start investing in something and you really love it, always go with the medium option when you're ready to start investing. Because there are so many quality tools out there today. There's so many quality cameras. There's so many quality fabrics. There's so many, there's so many things that you can already do at a pretty good low entry point if you want to start investing even more in your hobby, if you fell in love with it. So now that we've got past the fear of failure, we got out of imposter syndrome, we got ourselves out of the analysis paralysis, and we're investing and we've tried it and we're actually making progress. We're actually doing the thing that we're wanting to do. You're going to find the cycle restarts. And there's another thing that comes in, and that's imposter syndrome. I do the same thing with photography. I feel like an imposter a lot because I'm not the top notch. I'm not anything amazing. I've seen local photography here that are way better than mine and all the things like that. And that imposter syndrome starts to implement if you're trying to get some of your art form out there or whatever it might be. And maybe you don't ever want to deal with that, but that might be something you're going to find start setting in your mind. And just know the only reason why you feel imposter syndrome is the fact that you've started comparing yourself. So it goes back to your mindset, okay? And then you're going to start going into the cycle of, I'm getting back to analysis paralysis because I've been watching way too many videos about how to do this certain brush stroke or how to do this certain dance move, but never practicing it. It's all about balance when it comes to hobbies. And that's what I love about hobbies and creative things. It not only pulls the things in our minds out to the world, but it also teaches us so much. And we have this amazing ability to create. And so why not do it? Why let anything stop us from creating? I hope that you got a little something out of this episode that will help you get started. Now, there's so much I could have talked about, but like I said, I do not want to overtalk or get to where it stops making sense. But it's been such a joy to hopefully get you started in something. I want you to pick up the tool. I want you to get connected with somebody. This goes to the person who is just wanting to start getting out in the community more. It does not work if you stay home, right? You have to show up. You have to go volunteer. You have to show up in your studio. You have to show up in the wood shop. You have to show up for your friends, for your family, whatever it is that you're trying to implement in your life. You have to show up. So keep showing up. Keep making mistakes. You're not failing. Make mistakes and learn from those and start building on those skills. And if you can, find a mentor and get out in the community of creative people, because it's worth it. It's amazing. And if you need somebody, if you're creative and you're wanting to create connections, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you and we will talk. I would love that. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop talking because it has been officially half an hour, which I did not talk for an hour. So congratulations. You're welcome. And I hope you got something good out of this. Make sure you tune in next week with Kim Bickle, my guest. She is an amazing wellness coach and fitness, so I cannot wait to share with you that episode. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places. Make sure that you like and that you follow. If you love today's podcast, you can share this particular podcast with the people on your social media. I would love that. That will help get the word out there about the show. It's a very new show and there's a lot of shows out there. So make sure that you share. And I will ask, if you can you 5-star the show? This is one way that it will get the word out there to other people. So all you had to do on any of the platforms, there's stars, and you can just hit it and you can rate the podcast. This just helps it get the word to other people. Okay, guys, until next week, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're encouraged. Make sure you follow me on all the platforms. I have a website here in my time, and you guys have a marvelous week. Bye-bye.